I appreciate being here at this press conference since it's mostly about basketball, but in the football program, we're pretty excited about what's going on, and we're excited about starting this week preparing for our fifth straight bowl game. We don't know exactly who we're going to play or where we're going to play, but we know we're playing, so the players are working out, and we'll practice on Saturday, but we're not going to practice the rest of the week. But we're pretty excited about getting ready to go to our fifth straight bowl game.
Coach, if you think about California college football programs, lots of good ones come to mind. But what does it mean to you and the sustained success of this program that you and Stanford are tied for the longest bowl streak in all of California?
I'm glad you remembered that. We haven't been able to tell yet because we will be one of very few Division I football teams in the entire country that will be going to their fifth straight bowl. I forget last year how many it was. Maybe someone can help me. How many that went to 4 straight bowl games? 29. So obviously there's 2 or 3 that aren't going to their fifth. So we'll be in the top quarter of the country in Division I football teams going. So basically in the top 25. Which is a goal of ours, is to get to the top 25. So it means a lot, and it's like our basketball program. I don't think they've lost to a California team in how long?
It's like 43 straight games.
Yeah, something like that. So it's nice to be included with just us and Stanford being going to their fifth straight bowl. That's kind of a cool deal.
Have you looked at any film of Navy?
I have. But since we have 2.5 weeks to get ready to play somebody, I am going at a very slow pace. Usually the Monday before we play somebody, I watch about 10 hours of film. But since we have so long before the bowl game, I'm holding myself off, and I'm only watching 1 film a day for the first few days before I really get into it. Otherwise, I'll be really bored at the end.
What's 1 film a day? How long does that take?
Oh, about 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that spliced up film of various games throughout the year?
That's interesting. No, I watch the total game, and then I go back and watch it by personnel that they have in the game. Then I go back and watch it by position on the field, and then I go back and watch it on down and distance. So it takes about, 30 minutes to watch the game as a whole when you're the first time through. And then when you start in personnel, you'll see some tendencies, so you watch that a little closer. You see down and distance, you'll see some tendencies, so you'll watch that a little closer, so forth and so on. But usually on a Monday before we're getting ready to play on Saturday, I watch for 10 to 12 hours, film 10 to 12 hours. So yesterday was a very easy day.
We know you can't make presumptions, but we talk about Navy. How much different are they, Rocky, than the other kind of service academy teams and the option teams that you guys?
They're traditional triple option wishbone type offense, where Air Force is not anymore. Their fullback, Navy's fullback, will carry the ball 35 to 40 times no matter what in the game. Very, very patient. Try to get first downs, keep the ball away from the other team, keep it close, and we win at the end.
And how do you explain your success against those type of teams?
You know this. I don't try to explain any success against those type of teams. No. In my history, I've had some good days against triple option teams, and I've had some really, really bad days against triple option teams. So it just happens to be the day or the scheme, the players execute the scheme well, or sometimes they don't, or the scheme's not worth a darn.
Assuming you've learned more from the bad days than the good ones, right?
Obviously. Thing I learned is you never play the same defense twice against them. So you cannot play the same defense we played against Air Force, or they'll cut you up. I did that one time. We stopped, I think it was Air Force. We stopped Air Force really well one year and played the exact same defense the next year, and they set a record for scoring touchdowns. So you never do the same thing twice.
What did you guys do well against Navy in the last point set? What do you remember from
Well, I just watched a little of our offense. Our offense moved the ball really, really well. Saw Ryan Lindley at quarterback, saw Vincent Brown at wide receiver. I think it was Walter Casey and Ronnie Hillman were the running backs, and Gavin Escobar was the tight end, and I'm sure that had a lot to do with us beating Navy the last time.
Going back to kind of the season as a whole a little bit, two sophomores really jumped out on your team and had huge years, Donnell Pumphrey and Calvin Munson. Were you expecting those types of seasons from those two?
I think we expected them to be pretty good players this year. I think we were expecting that.
Yeah.
I think Pumphrey has probably exceeded our expectations. I mean, I don't know exactly. Maybe Jamie can help me, but he needs 86 yards to break Marshall Falk's record for a season. That's pretty elite company right there. And then Calvin Munson, because he wasn't able the year before, he played a little bit as a true freshman, didn't play a lot. We didn't expect him to play a lot this year. And then because of the injuries to the senior linebackers, he got to play a lot and obviously has established himself as a very good player. So I think he's more surprising than Pumphrey is, even though I'm sure we didn't think Pumphrey would have 1,700 and something yards at this time in the season.
How excited are you for next year now, knowing that you still get Pumphrey for a lot more time?
I'm glad you brought that. I think we have an excellent football team coming back. What we need to do is find a quarterback. If we find a quarterback, we're going to be a really good football team.
Is there a clear-cut front runner?
No, there's not. In fact, we're recruiting too, so there's not a clear front runner that's here right now, and we're looking for one more to compete, which means junior college guy. We're looking for a junior college guy to come in and compete.
Rocky, in training camp, you had kind of predicted both your group of safeties and your wide receivers would, at the end of the season, be better than they were at the end of last season. Is that prediction at this point in the season come to fruition, or is it?
I think our safeties have exceeded my expectations. I think after the first couple weeks, the safeties played really well and better than last year's safeties. I think the wide receivers have not made the kind of improvement that I expected. I think they're better now than when they were at the start of the season, but I thought they'd be further ahead than they are.
As enthusiastic as you were, I remember a press conference fairly early on in the season when you were talking about the next year, saying, we're going to be a really, really good football team next year. You just threw out the caveat of the quarterback. But in every other aspect, Rocky, do you feel like, and you just mentioned the receivers, but do you feel like enough progress was made with the younger guys that you can still feel as confident about the younger guys as you did 8 weeks ago?
I think our talent level is such that we could be a really good football team. I think the biggest question mark on the team is who's the quarterback going to be. And whoever the quarterback's going to be, is he going to play at an average level or is he going to play at a good level? I'm not even thinking a great level. If he plays at a good level, I think we'll have a really good football team. If he doesn't play at a good level, we're going to be very similar to the way we were this year. I mean, we'll be able to run the ball really well and we'll play good defense, and that'll mean you'll win enough games to get to a bowl game, but probably won't win the championship. If we have a quarterback that plays at a good level, we'll be one of the best teams in the league.
You mentioned top 25 earlier as a goal for this team. How far in the future do you think that is for this program?
I think it depends on the quarterback. I think if we have a quarterback that plays at a level like the Colorado State quarterback played at this year, we're very similar to Colorado State. And they finished 10-2, and at one time they were in the top 25 until Air Force beat them, at the end of the year. So I think we're in the same caliber. They just had a quarterback that was a senior and played really, really well, which put them over the top in a variety of very close games.
Rocky, a couple weeks ago, the idea of running the spread kind of popped up. And as you're recruiting, for a new quarterback to come in, is that something that you're looking for now, or is that something that you have to kind of change beforehand before recruiting a quarterback with that kind of skill set?
No, in fact, 2 2 of the 4 quarterbacks in our program right now came out of a spread system. And most of the quarterbacks that you can recruit now are coming out of a spread system. So you're going to recruit the best quarterback you can find. And there's obviously more teams running the spread than the other type offense, so there's a good chance that we'll get a spread quarterback. And then he's either going to have to adjust to the pro formation, or if we go to the spread, they have some advantages.
So I guess your strategy won't change depending on the best talent that you might find at quarterback. Say if the best guy you have is a spread offense type quarterback, you won't make that change.
We're going to try to find the very best quarterback that we can. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to move to the spread, even if he's a spread quarterback. Jake Rodriguez was a transfer from Oregon where he ran the spread for 2 years. But in high school, he was a pro-style quarterback. Christian Chapman came out of the spread, and Nick Bowden came out of a pro-type offense. So we're going to try to find the best quarterback we can and then tailor the offense to take advantage of his skills.
Rocky, are you in any kind of position at this point to very seriously consider the spread in this offseason?
Not right now. Right now, we're worried about trying to win the bowl game, and then we're worried about recruiting. But by rules, our coaches can be out from Monday through Friday, see kids once a week, be in schools once a week, be in a home once a week. As a head coach, you can only see a kid one time during the whole recruiting process. So there's a lot of times that all the coaches are on the road and I'm sitting in the office all by myself. It gives me a whole lot of time to overthink things and decide which way we're going on offense.
But you'll look at it.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to look at it.
What are you looking for if you could have your choice of quarterbacks? What are you looking for?
Well, if Phillip Rivers would come back, we'll take him. What I think is the key to all really good quarterbacks is, number one, they have good leadership ability and they're highly competitive. Number two, they're very accurate throwing the football. The ball is on target most of the time. So I think those are the 2 key ingredients to being a great quarterback. Ball's on the target most of the time, and you're a highly competitive leader guy.
Anything else for Coach?
What does the schedule look like, Rocky? So the rest of this week, you guys don't start practicing until Sunday?
We're going to practice on Saturday.
Saturday.
And then next week, we're going to practice Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday. And then after that, we'll go every day, except the day we move into the hotel for the bowl game.
How early do you move into the hotel?
Depends on which game, but it's usually 4 days before the game. So some of them make you be there 5 days before, you're there 4 days before.
Would that be the case even if it was hypothetically in San Diego?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And are there a certain amount of days in which you get to practice? You're limited?
Yeah, but you won't. We could go over the limit. If we practiced every single day from here on out, we could go over the limit. The limit's 15 practices. The way we have it scheduled, we won't even come close. It'll be 9 or 10 practices.